commercials. Now it's
Good morning, guys. Walter Murley, a real estate mentor. We're here today at the Keller Williams office. This is a training we're going to be doing every week on Wednesdays. Today's training is all about getting more listings. So with that, good morning, beautiful, successful sales agents. It's good to see you guys. One of the questions I get all the time is how do you get more listings? Who here wants more?
We all do.
We all want more listings?
Yeah.
You do? You do? Ron,
Oh,
do you want
definitely.
to see the whole team doing more listings?
Oh yeah.
All right, one of the reasons we want more listings is because listings are how we buy property. First, it starts with us generating the purchasing power, right? If we don't buy it, then it goes to a listing, and that's a secondary. So as investors, we start off with the listing kind of a second thought. We're starting with the purchase in mind. And one of the reasons we want listings is because it's leverageable, right? So this, outside of just purchasing power and being able to buy the listing, we also want the ability to leverage a listing. Who knows what leverage is? All right, so my dad taught me leverage with, we were talking about putting a wrench on a tire and tire iron, and when you go in, if you were just to try to twist it like this, it wouldn't go anywhere. Has anybody ever dealt with replacing a tire before? And if you just try to twist on it, that thing's not going to go anywhere. But when you put the tire iron on and you start pushing further and further out, it gets easier and easier to the point where you can actually spin this thing with a lot of torque. Well, the same thing is with a listing, right? When you're working just buyers, you don't have a lot of leverage. It's like trying to spin that with just very little leverage on you. When you get the listing, it's literally like extending out the pole almost 3 times. Right? Because now you have the ability to not just help one client, you have the ability to now market that listing to everybody. The pictures on Facebook, the pictures out on MLS, the pictures that are in everybody's office, the sign in the yard, every one of these is a marketing tool, right? This is just one of the reasons. I said it's 3 times. It's just one of the reasons that you have more leverage on a listing. The other one is naturally the buyers who are coming into the house on the open house, right? So the open house is another leverage for listings. When the buyers are coming in, sometimes they don't have an agent and they need somebody they want to work with. So you can, right there, grab yourself a new client. Now you're getting both sides of a transaction. Even if they don't close on that listing, they may close on something else. Now you've got the potential of 2 deals instead of just 1 deal. So right so far, we like listings, right?
Yes.
They're a little bit easier than buyers, right? Listings, you work your own schedule. Matt, you work a lot of buyers. What schedule are you on when you're working with buyers?
Whatever they are on.
Whatever they are, right? So you're on their schedule. When you're running the listing, Dad, who sets the schedule?
I do.
That's right. Do we sometimes set the schedule a little crazy for ourselves?
Yeah.
Of course. But we set it. We could show that house 1 time a week. It wouldn't bother us. When we're working buyers, we could show the same house 3 or 4 times in the same week because, well, this buyer wants to see it now and that buyer wants to see it now. So we leverage just on that side. Is that water? Can you get me some water, bro?
Water.
There's water if you go around the corner in Tammy's office. She's got a bottle.
Would you like me to grab you a bottle of
If you
water?
don't mind,
Okay.
yes. Most complex way to ask, but yeah. I just leveraged. That is leveraging a business partner, right? It's like leveraging a listing. They come to you. So the water is about to come over to me because I am stuck here in front of the camera, just like a listing. This is marketing. This works. I can tie anything to something. So the third reason that listings are key is it's in there. Hold on. We did already showing up, getting the marketing from it, the open houses, the fact that you can turn your buyers into both sides of the transaction. But the listing, regardless of whether you get an outside client, typically they have to buy something else. So you're also doing the purchase side after you're doing the listing side. So typically out of it, you can get 3 transactions if you do it right. If you leverage the listing properly, not only is that person selling this home, they're going to buy another home. So most cases you're already getting 2 deals, but you have the potential to get 3 deals when you're able to use that listing to attract other people. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So instead of just using your business, I found a buyer off of a Facebook lead, or I found a buyer just, it's one of my friends or my sphere, and I'm going out there and I'm trying to get the lug nut off with just my hands. right? But then you decide, I'm gonna get the listing, and I'm gonna put that listing on the market. Now I've got the wrench, and it's got about that much, so I can target just a little bit, but it's not enough to really leverage the heck out of this. And that's when people just put the listing online, and potentially you're gonna have the buyer, sell that house, go and buy something else, right? So that's just a little bit of leverage. Very likely they're gonna do that. The more you teach them, the more you train them on how to go purchase more, the more you guide them in that direction and say, hey, yeah, you could go rent or you could purchase locally. Because a lot of times they're moving to Florida and retirement, there's nothing we can do about that.
Referral.
Mm-hmm. And that's the next step. So that's one of the forms of getting extra income out of, say they're going to Florida. Say they're moving 2 hours away, it's just something you can't work. A lot of agents miss out on the referral fee. They come through, oh, well, they're buying in Florida, I guess I'm gonna lose it. Have a contact in Florida, right? You just did one in Oregon?
Oregon, yep.
Yeah, I'm doing the same, I'm doing one in Washington.
West Coast.
Yeah, Seattle, right? Somebody said that they wanted to buy a property and they asked me all the questions. I went through the whole process and they were like, do you have an agent out in this area? I said, yeah, of course. I called up an agent in Seattle, I interviewed a good quality agent and then gave them the listing. So it's leverage that you can use regardless. These are little pieces that you just have to know when somebody's selling a hot property and they're going somewhere else. Don't miss out on the opportunity to get that commission. It just makes more sense. The other one, when you're, we'll go marketing next. So when you're marketing it, a lot of agents, this is what agents now think is marketing a property. Oh, I've got the listing, put it on MLS, and then they're done. They think that's marketing a property, right? It's not about just putting the listing on MLS. It's like, how many open houses do we do, Dan? On a property. It's every week.
Every week, once a week.
Every week.
At least once a week.
At least once a week. It's marketing. When we put it in MLS, it shows marketing. When we put it on our Facebook account saying, hey, we're doing an open house. When we do the video at the open house saying, here's this property, going through the video walkthrough, it's marketing. No agent does this. Very, very few are out there leveraging the second part of having a listing, which is the marketing piece. You can put this everywhere. You can talk about it. You can get it in dozens of different medias that just listing on MLS is not doing. The other one is a sign in the yard. It's old school, right? It's, a lot of agents will put it online and not go and put the sign in the yard. And if they do put the sign in the yard, they're not putting it in the right place. They just slap the sign in the yard, it looks good for that picture. But in reality, if you put the sign in the yard and you're not doing open houses and you're not doing we put out open house signs after we do an open house, before we do an open house. Not having those signs on the corners of the streets, guiding them to the main sign is a major flaw. And the idea is put those signs out very early in the morning, same day, put those signs out very early and make sure that they're on high traffic areas. So if you're on a main road, it may make sense to put 2 or 3 signs from the main road leading down to the main open house. This is just an attraction that you're able to get because you have the listing anyway. We have dozens of open house signs in the office. It's one of the things that I used to use. I used to carry 3 all the time because you never know how far the listing was going to be from the main road. And those 3 would be in my trunk. Back when I was in a different brokerage, I would have all 3 in there, and then I'd go out, drop them, and I'd make sure they were at both ends of the street. Unless I had a really far main road and I just go one path in. But in the city, you can typically get to both ends, and both ends are generally, there's a busy road on one of them. So what is the other leverage that we use for listings? It's bringing people in, marketing that open house, telling your friends and family to come take a look at it as you're talking with other buyers. So having buyers is always important. The concept of working the same type of buyer as your listings, so we work with a lot of multifamilies, so working with the same type of client on both sides is one of the reasons we're able to get a lot of both end deals. You've done a unicorn, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you come close to unicorns, you got them close, right? Because you're working the same types of buyers, same types of listings, so you end up leveraging them even further, so you end up on both sides of the transaction, right? It's not about undercutting another agent. Oh, somebody came in, they had an agent, now we got both sides. That's not the strategy. The right strategy to getting both sides, I'm working a ton of buyers in the same niche as I'm working my sellers. This way you're leveraging way further. Instead of being spread out across a whole bunch of different cities, be in one city, be in one zip code, be in one niche. because that's where you're able to leverage further. Right? If you're doing marketing and you're trying to market in Swansea, you're trying to market in Somerset, you're trying to market in Dartmouth, you're trying to market in Westport, the money you have to spend to be effective is tremendous. But if you took that same budget and you put it down into one city, into one zip code, as people are seeing your signs, just driving through the neighborhood, seeing your signs over and over and over, that's marketing in itself. It's social proof. In a small little area, people say, wow, they dominate that area. That's the spot, right? And that makes for more and more listings in that area typically. So that's the reason we get listings, right? It's leverage. It's about doing more. How are we doing for time, Ron?
10:25.
Okay, good. I want to keep this short because I know we've got places to go and we're doing an online video. We want to make sure you guys get home soon too. One of the agents missed the meeting today and asked me, can I ask you a whole bunch of questions about listings? I said, well, the trainings are here for a reason, right? We do the trainings at a certain time because after this, I'm going and doing the next job, the next thing. Every agent should be very consistently, very tightly scheduled, where your day is activity, 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 and free time, right? Listings, it doesn't happen in the morning. I typically will push listings to the afternoon. Typically, if somebody says they want a list, I'm pushing to the next day or the day after. This way you're able to schedule more in your time. Right? Dad, you, when you first started, you pick up the phone, you called, they'd say yes, they want a list, and then you'd be like, well, I'll meet you right now. And that made your time very inefficient because instead of still continuing being on the phone, like bringing in more listings, you got on the road. And sometimes you were driving 30 minutes away for a listing. You were working Brockton in the beginning. So what we started figuring out was if he just calls for 2 hours and gets, maybe another appointment, and he schedules them 2 or 3 days in advance, he can go on 2 to 3 appointments in the same amount of time that he was taking to do just one. It became more efficient. And a lot of people miss out on that other form of leverage where the listings are not typically in a rush. They're not going to stop, they're not going to leave you, but you get a 2 or 3 day window before, from the point of contact to the point of, I got to get out there and definitely list with them and get the property going. So it's, leveraging systems. So one of the key ways to getting listings is cold calling. There's no getting around it, and my dad can call 100 people in an hour because he's using a dialer. So the dialing system is imperative. It's paramount for us marketing. Just being able to call and say, hey, I'm looking to buy property in the neighborhood, or my investor's looking to buy property in the neighborhood. Are you willing to sell? Are you looking to sell anytime this year? Are you looking to progress forward? And the reason I go on a cold calling is because it's my second, well, I'd say it's my first favorite, but it's the second most effective way of getting a call back or getting in contact. The first will always be mailers, or at least for now it's been mailers for years, decades. And those mailers go out and they say, hey, I've sold a couple houses in the area, or the mailer that says, I'm looking to buy property, or have you considered selling? This is a great time to sell. Mailers are expensive though. They typically are between 50 cents to $1 per mailer, and you typically have to send out 50 to get one phone call. And you have to take 10 phone calls to get to one appointment. So the math starts adding up to being pretty expensive to book these appointments, between $400 and $500 to get on every appointment, and then your conversion rate on an appointment is 30% typically in the industry, 30 to 40. So you start doing the math, and it's tight margins on mailers, right? With phone calling, you buy the same list, and you have your dialer, and whatever the monthly dialer costs, like ours is $150. The monthly dialer costs whatever it costs, and in our team, we pay for it for you guys, so it's more affordable. You can call that entire list, 100 people every hour, and it doesn't cost you anything beyond the first initial investment and the monthly fee. So you can see how you can actually leverage that way further than mailers. Now, why do we call? Because it's hard to say no to somebody who's on the phone with you, right? What are some of the conversations you've had on the phone where they actually booked the appointment?
Hard to say. They said that they're interested in selling, or they thought about selling.
Right. And most of the time, when you're on the phone, what are the conversations like?
No, thank you, not interested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's quick. we're rounding off the phone. Anybody who would be offended or bothered by us, we're rounding off the phone very quickly.
Mhm.
There's a handful of people who, stop calling me, it's this harassment. But it's not common, and it's not the majority. It's typically a hang up or a no thanks. And it's great, because you can get on to the next opportunity.
Yeah.
The calls that take the most time are the ones who are actually interested in us being in there. Typically, those are the ones who have a story to tell, and they're taking notes. And those are our best opportunities. So, but again, it's go for no, right? Once you're on there and you get that one appointment, that's not where we stop, because tomorrow's coming, and you want to book up 2 or 3 appointments in 2 or 3 days. You want to get as much as you possibly can. So calling, I love calling. That to me is when it's time to get listings. First, I reach out to my sphere, but beyond the sphere, and this is because I assume that every agent is already reaching out to their sphere, which is a crazy assumption, because most agents are afraid to admit that they're even agents to their friends and their family. They'd rather some stranger walk through the door and help them sell their house. But in reality, you first reach out to your sphere. That's my first, but I assume you're doing it. I hope you're doing it. I know you guys are. The sphere is where the easiest transactions are, right? Friend or family wants to sell a house. They already like you. They already trust you. You just go out there and you tell them this is what it's going to be worth. This is the marketing system I use, and you run it. With the listings of people we're just meeting, we have to go through the whole rapport phase first, right? My dad spends probably the first 20, 30 minutes just getting to know somebody and seeing, if he can make sure that he's the right person for that listing, and make sure they're comfortable, answering a whole bunch of questions about what he's done in the past or how he's going to market it. Whereas when we're going with friends, they're just like, sure, tell me what to do. It's completely different. And sometimes we get lucky with a client who literally is just like, yeah, I'll sign whatever, and you run this program the way you want to run it, and we're fine. But that's probably far and few between, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the cold ones, it's a little more work. So work your sphere first, and then I would say get on the dialer. When you start doing very well and you've made some money, mailers can make sense, and they're a very effective way to bring phone calls into the office, to bring people calling you. Then beyond, let's talk about Facebook a little bit, right? So Facebook is a tool that we use all the time. Not only do we get the list, not only do we go and mail them, not only do we go and make the phone calls, but Facebook just putting out what's the value of your home? Have you gotten the valuation of your home? Right, you guys have access to the seller valuation form that we use in the team. Putting that out there in a group of things that are, people are doing older person stuff, right? Because remember, your typical seller is 55 plus. So they've got to be a little bit older. So taking the tools that we have already within brokerage, those links, and dropping it out into a group that would likely be able to sell, grew up in whatever city. So we have a group in Fall River, a group in New Bedford. There's groups that are small niches, something like, what groups you guys are part of? Are you part of any groups, Dad?
No.
Work on that.
Those two, and tons of them, yard sale groups,
Yard sale groups, yeah, stuff like that. You have a lot of opportunity, but you got to niche a little bit further in, right? So cigar aficionados, or people who go to like bingo nights. Like when you start getting really, really old, like that's the sort of niche of people who are looking to sell, right? Think, what would somebody 55 plus be doing on Facebook? What are the things they're following? Like where are they at? And if you're having a hard time with it, go spend some time with your parents and say, hey, what are you doing? Or if you're much older, go and spend some time with your kids and ask them what they're doing. Maybe your kids are 55 and find out, because there are some agents out there who are still in their 70s and 80s killing it.
Or if you're in that age group,
Yeah.
ask your friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you're in an age group and you're on Facebook, what are you into? Is it gardening? Is it recipes? Like, what is it you're spending your time on Facebook? What are you reading, and where's your feed at? The other side is making sure you're putting a post out on your page so people know about the home valuation. Because that information goes into the CRM, and then it pulls up, and now you know to give them a CMA. Immediately this person just wants to know the value of their house. Give them a call, go out, meet them, take a look at the property, give them the valuation. This way, now they know what the value of their home is, and you've built a contact. The other thing that we can do with Facebook is Messenger. So we've got the list. We can pull any kind of list that you want. You could be single families, multifamilies, condos, 2 families, any city all across the country, any zip code. You pull the list right out of MLS, and you can append it using different programs. We use DataZap a lot. and you can just append it to get the phone numbers and the emails. Beyond that, you have the names of the owners of those properties. You can search them right in Facebook. You know about their age range because of when they purchased the property. You can take a guess, and you're able to do the search and say, this is that person. You can friend them on Facebook, and you can send them a private message. We were talking about it earlier. People don't pay attention to email. People don't pay attention to, sometimes they don't pay attention to their actual main Facebook page. People definitely don't pay attention to phone calls sometimes. But what they do pay attention to is Facebook Messenger and texting. You text somebody, you're gonna get a response back, who is this, right? You send a response on Facebook Messenger, it's do I know you? Like if you've never met them before and you added them and you message them, they will always 100% respond. With blast texting and texting people blindly, it's a 70% chance they're not gonna respond back. With an email, it's a 1% chance that they'll actually respond back. So the rate drops lower and lower as you get to less popular mediums, less relationship building mediums. Think about the messenger. You get a message from somebody, what is the first thing you do?
Respond. Who is this?
Well, you go to their profile. If you don't immediately respond, you go to their profile and you get to know them a little bit. You're able to build rapport with this person quickly because they're going and doing all the research on you for you. Right, so it's a rapport building tool. So make sure your main page, and if you've gone through our trainings in the past, Social Dynamics, will make sure your main page is all set up the right way, so you look like a decent human being who will attract the type of clients that you want. Right, so your face must be smiling. You want good, smiling, happy, positive clients. You want people who are looking for something professional, and you want people who are looking at real estate. So making your post, your pages, your posts, your pictures, all either family-oriented, whatever's important to you. That means that when people look at you, they're going to qualify, they're going to say, yeah, this is somebody I want. This is somebody that I want to work with. So when they're going for Messenger, they get the message, they say, who is this? They go and they check it out. Then, of course, well, now they know you, whether or not they like you from the review. They're going to message you back and say, who is this? Or do I know you? They won't say who is this, but how do I know you? Or why are you messaging me? Or they'll just respond back to whatever question you asked. But now in their head, they're trying to piece together why you're reaching out to them, right? They understand that there may be some sort of sale attached to this. They understand you may be a friend from somebody else. You may be looking for something, but they're still going to respond back because they kind of connected with you, right? In an offline, pseudo, rapport building manner, they kind of connected. How many Facebook messages do you guys send out a week?
Ooh, that could vary. 20, 30, maybe
To new
different
people.
To new people, that's a little smaller.
Right?
New people.
And you're one of the most aggressive in the team. And new people, it's like, oh, I don't think I do that, right?
I will.
Of
Not
course.
20.
It's tough to not after you know. Like once you know, I would make a goal of one new contact every day, right? Just in sales in general, I have the rule of one new contact every day. It doesn't matter what I'm selling, one new contact every day, right? So like my job as a trainer is to reach new agents. I have a different client than an agent does, but it's the same concept. Nothing changes about my prospecting. I'm supposed to be in front of one new client every single day. One new agent, for you guys, one new home buyer or one new home seller. The same concept. If you stick to getting in front of 365 new people at the end of the year, you're gonna do some closings. We're gonna help some people out. There's a very good chance. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely.
And if you don't have a system, a requirement around meeting one person every day, regardless of whether it's I haven't talked to this person in a long time, regardless of whether it's I just messaged them on Facebook because I got a list and the list said that this is somebody, it doesn't really matter. But if you don't do that consistently, results may vary, right? And that's one of the things my coach says all the time I love. It's like, here's exactly what to do, and you'll get success. You do this, you will get success. One contact a day, doesn't matter if it's a Facebook Messenger or if it's in person, on the phone, a text, a high five, but one contact a day, guaranteed results. Guaranteed. You'll close 20 deals a year with your eyes closed if you reach one contact a day, new, and you talk about real estate. It's the only key is When you ask them what they do, let them ask you what you do, and you tell them it's real estate, and now you can have any other conversation. Just get that out of the way. And on the reverse side, if you don't make that one contact a day, results may vary. Right? We don't know where you'll go. Yeah.
So when you talk about what you do, and then when you mention real estate, is that maybe the point where you'll ask for, do you know anybody looking to buy or sell in the near future?
Of course. Yeah.
Next question.
Who do you know? I don't ask, do you? I ask, who do you know? All right, sentences are very important. It's just understanding the value behind words and the way they're constructed.
Who do you know?
Who do you know?
Yeah.
Not do you know, because do you know takes your mind to a different place.
It's a yes,
Who
no
do you know?
question.
Yeah, it's a yes, no question. We avoid yes, no questions. True and false is dangerous, right? Good and multiple choice makes it a lot easier, but I'd rather take a multiple choice test than a true and false test. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The mind will go and look for the answer within the inventory you have. So who do you know? Well, let me think. Whereas do you know is nope. The mind says no immediately. As soon as the mind has to do a little bit of thinking, it says, well, this is way easier just not to. Right? So good question, and that is the understanding behind words. We have objections, right? Seller objections. There's also, on the other side of it, just positive words, right? We don't talk about this in real estate at all. We always talk about objections. What if the seller says this? What if the seller says this? I'd rather never get to that point. I'm not a huge fan of objections. I'm not a huge fan of the seller or the buyer being uncomfortable and asking me questions that I already know the canned response to. I'd much rather guide them through a conversation, never get those questions. Right? I would much rather bring them through in a manner where I'm already hitting what they're thinking about before they're thinking about it. This way, as I'm going through the process, they're sitting there just kind of like you guys are right now. We're going down a story, and it all makes sense because I'm answering the different things that are coming up in your mind as they're coming up, as I'm putting them there. Right? We're talking about listings because I decided first I'm going to get the buy-in on, do you like the idea of doing more listings? I started with, do we like that idea? And then talked about the process and the systems. Well, with selling a house, when you walk into the house, what is the first question we ask? Where are you looking to go? First question I ask. Hey, nice to meet you, pleasure. So, you considering selling, or you want to know the price? Where are you looking to go? What are you looking to do? First question, because that's what do you want from me? What do you want from me so I can deliver? Right? And then, oh wow, yes, you're right. It's a great time to sell. It's a great time to do that strategy. That makes sense. Whatever that strategy is, it does make sense for their life, right? You find the way to connect it, and when you see them jump on something, you push more. And when you don't see any reaction on something you said, you keep looking for the other reasons. There's a dozen reasons somebody would sell a house. Just look for them. Find them and present it. Give them what they're looking for. Objections are, it's if you messed something up, now you deal with an objection. Right? But if you didn't mess something up and you said, where are you looking to go? Oh, excellent. What are the reasons you're looking to do that? Oh, cool. How do you think is the fastest way for you to get there? Right? Guiding with good, strong questions that open the conversation up instead of yes, no's, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Right? Are you looking to move? Are you looking to go somewhere else? Kills the conversation. Right? Where are you looking to go? Why are you looking to do things? What are you looking to do? When are you looking to get this done? Those 4 questions. How would you like to get it done? Those 5. It's the 4 W's and the H, right? If you ask those questions throughout a conversation, it opens up so many avenues you can go down, and they're just guiding you through the process. And this is kind of, conversion. This is in the appointment. But getting more listings is the same concept. You got to go out there and ask the right questions. Yeah. How do I spend more time on the phone? How should I be marketing myself? Who should I be marketing to? What is the best way to market it to them? Right? When am I going to schedule this on my calendar to get it done? Those are successful questions. There's no yes or no's in there. Your mind must seek out the answer and go and get it done. Does that make sense? Cool one? Cool lesson? Yeah. I think that's pretty much it. I know you gotta get out of here. But any questions?
Should put that in writing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So who, what, where,
That's
why, and how.
That's a good idea. So, Ron, let's get a document together. We do a who, what, where, why, how, when, and and that's the motto to really live by when you're doing anything.
Yeah.
So yes, Facebook. Thank you guys. AgentAlchemist.com. Check us out. Ron, hit the upload button and also hit the save button. Save first before upload. If you're doing Facebook Live, save first before upload. Fun fact. Thank you guys.
Did you update our